Hello, guys. How are you doing today? Welcome to Inspired Mind Podcast, IMH Podcast. It's a hub where we dive straight into struggles and real life possibilities. We discuss topics that are attributing to personal development. And on today, we're going to be talking on social media. I'm your host. I am Samuel Ogumugoro, and I'm also known as SR Gallery. I run a creative studio whereby we do music video, pictures, and lots more. So if you're joining us for the first time, you're welcome to IMH Podcast Studio, and we're gonna be diving right straight in. If you don't know our socials, you can follow us on social media at IMH Podcast Studio on Instagram, on TikTok, and on YouTube. So without no further ado, let's dive into today's podcast. Then today we're gonna be talking about the most discussed topic and one thing that actually affect both the young, the old, the youth. Like I feel like almost everyone as an individual right now, this topic has a lot to do with us, and that's the most talked about topic right now. It's social media. So today we're gonna be diving right into the discussion of social media, its effect, benefit, and way forward. And we have two amazing guests with us that's gonna be giving us different perspective from their own personal life and how social media has shaped their uh, growth in general. So with me on my left, I have speaker Jamen. We're gonna give him the mic now so you hear from him and a brief introduction of who he is. So over to you, Jamen.
Thanks for having me here. My name is Jamen. Um, a trader. I'm into NFT and crypto. I trade NFT and crypto, and also I run an Instagram team page on Instagram, Facebook, and across all social media.
Okay, that's nice. I think
Nice to meet
that
you.
deserves a round of applause. I heard NFT, I heard crypto. Once I heard
Basically, money.
yeah, it's what she said is the place I'm going to now. Once I hear crypto NFT, I just see money, like I see bank.
Money. Matters.
It's screaming bank.
We're in the right room.
Very, very much in the right room. And on my left, we have a very, very high profile person in the building. She's been a public speaker for 13 years, and she does what she does very well. So I will let her take the mic and then she should introduce herself. We have with us Dream.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Jermaine.
Nice
to meet you. My name is Dream. I go by Dream. It's my stage name and creative persona. I'm born Mpumi Nobiva. My former stage name was Mpumi Nobiva.
Okay.
But unfortunately, speaking of social media, I deleted my account at a very low moment in my life when I'd grown it to a big size. And now that I'm starting again, I decided to come up with something new. So Dream is in the house.
Dream is in the house.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. You see, we have two wonderful people with two different perspectives of how they've used social media and how social media has contributed to their personal growth, business, and life in general. So we're gonna be diving right into the topic with no time wasted. On the first segment, we have the subtopic, the power and influence of social media. I'll be reading this out. Sorry, guys, because I'm not that bright enough to have all of them in my head now, but we'll do fine. So the first question is the power of social media. Social media connects billions of people every day. Social media has built entire career, and it's also feels overwhelm, and it's also constant pressure for others. So the question is, what's one way social media has positively changed your life as an individual? So this question goes to both persons. So anyone that picks to answer first can, and then I also like to hear from the next person. So I would like to direct this question to you first because I'm already staring at you. I think it's gonna be unfair because they say ladies first.
I don't mind.
No, 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 no.
What if
you
you
have
want to
to
talk
mind.
about how you made money? I want to learn how to make money.
Yeah, you will still learn even after you say it. So let's go to you, Dream. Let me just read the question again. The power of social media, right?
Yeah.
What is one way social media has positively changed your life?
Okay, so social media positively changed my life because when I started speaking, I would talk about my story. So basically, my story in a nutshell is that I grew up in poverty and my mother died of AIDS. My mother was one of 2.9 million people that died in 2002. And when I just started sharing my story in high school, there was no social media, right? And then I started getting opportunities. I didn't know it was a business either. But what I used to do is when I would go to different places, I would take pictures and then I would post them
Okay.
and talk about what I'm doing. I didn't know I was brand building at the time.
Okay.
And I would go to these places alone and literally ask, like, if I'm speaking at a school, I'll ask the school principal, can I get a teacher, somebody who can take a short video? Can I get a picture of me talking on stage? And then can I get a picture at the end with the kids? And I didn't know I was doing like strategy and brand at the time. You know what I mean?
It's just like an hobby you just enjoy doing.
Yeah. And so what happened is then I started getting invitations to different places. And it's only when I got to America, like about 6 months later, that a client asked how much I charge. And I was like, what? You want to pay me for talking? I could do this forever. You know? And that really just like gave me visibility in a way that I didn't understand, you know? And that changed my life. It took it to a place where I realized, oh, so I am a brand, I am a business. But the thing is then that sort of became my personality. So I'll leave it there because that's where the challenges now came in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it definitely did put me on and it got me in this like financial wave that I didn't know was even possible.
Okay. And for me personally, before we get into Jamen, I feel like I've not been exposed to social media too long. I feel like I started paying attention very much to social media from 2020. That is when but I've been on Facebook since like let's say 2016 or 13 if I'm not mistaken. I don't know the exact date. But when I was on Facebook, it was like an online gallery to me whereby I can post anything I
Anything.
feel like. So
Yeah.
I posted a lot of pictures and a lot of things. And then during 2020, when I get to have the idea of what social media is and how people view you from your social media handles, and then I deleted all the interests on my Facebook.
I remember doing that as well.
Do you know it was even hard to delete all of them, and then I started hiding some, and then I even private the account so no one sends me a friend request. I still have it. I'm not gonna say you guys in name because there are some pictures I've not been able to delete. So for me, when I had the idea of how social media really looks like and how it really works in 2020, and then I started paying more attention to how I present myself. Because one thing I've seen over the years about social media is it's easy to just like the button post, right? But even if you delete it from your account, I feel like that's not the actual delete.
Yeah.
There is no delete button to social media. Even if you do delete it, there is someone that has seen it.
Yeah,
There's a
kept
group
it.
of
Doesn't
people.
go away.
It's just so I just started being conscious, and then I've used social media the way I want to be seen as who I am in real life. It's just like a reflection of who I am, the things I do. I just being conscious, and then I post what I want. So for me, social media has impacted my life in a positive way too, because I also have to say it. Social media has made me connected to people I thought it would cost me money and travel and all that hassle to meet and do business with them. I've also learned a lot from meeting people on social media and becoming their friend. So let's go to Jamen. What's one way social media has positively changed your life?
So I will take you guys down in memory lane. Back then in 2020, I was going through a very rough phase in my life where I was confused. I didn't know what to do. So my cousin usually talks about Gary V. So I went online and started watching these videos. Those videos, they gave me clarity about how I should position myself in life. And I started watching those videos. And from there, I started reading books, which that was just the foundation of my personal development. I got the first book, which is How Famous Rich Dad, Poor Dad. From there, it was very surprised that I did not know the difference between assets and liability in 2020. It was very crazy. And
You are not the only one. I feel like I see people lost in the confusion up to date. They still don't know the difference between assets and liability.
so from there, I started shuffling my friends, started cutting people off, and I started making changes in my life. From there, back in 2020 as well, I met a friend on Twitter. He is from Canada, introduced me to trading. So I started learning how to trade from there. And that was how my life changed. My mindset, your mindset is it's the only thing that controls your entire life. From a mindset, you start shaping your actions. Your actions will start deciding your reality. From there, I got into Amazon KDP and I started growing my Instagram team page, which is currently earning me a lot of money as well.
I feel like this guy needs to tell us more about Instagram.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
He has a lot of things to say, but let's
Yeah.
not rush into him. So, this goes to dream. Do you think people are too dependent on social media for validation?
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so I'm not going to give away my life book here because I want you guys to give me coins when I sell my book.
No problem. We definitely anticipate.
But like, I can relate to somebody who, so when I shared earlier that I started finding success and visibility as a brand, I personally, I wasn't making the connections then that, oh, this means I'm a brand. I'm doing this business. For me, it was just like an unfolding, like magic, basically. I was discovered by Oprah Winfrey, and I was one of the girls that went to her school. And then I applied to go to school in the United States, and I got a scholarship. So it all felt like this magical Cinderella experience, you know?
Okay.
And as beautiful as it was, I wish I knew how powerful it is to have visibility and to be in front of people. Because in as much as I had the natural skill and talent of speaking to people and then packaging that into media moments that would get more business, I also had a lot of like personal issues with confidence, a low self-esteem, a low self-worth. So even though I looked really great presenting myself, I wasn't
But
aligned internally.
in need of people to be like, yes, this is right, or wrong
Exactly,
before you accept it
exactly,
for yourself.
exactly. So that culture of visibility caught me very early in my I'd say early 20s. And obviously moving in spaces where they're billionaires, they're multimillionaires, you're in America, you're the first of your family to be able to reach that scale. I personally I feel like I got lost in terms of who I was as a person, because when you grow up poor, when you've seen what I've seen, there's a lot of trauma that impacts you, right? And there's a lot that gets in the way of how you even understand where your value is.
Yes.
So you start thinking that your value and what makes you unique comes from the achievements, comes from the money,
That's where
Yes,
comes from the content,
Yeah.
right? So now you start becoming hungry for that. It becomes the drug, right? And it starts to inform decisions that should be informed maybe by, I remember when I first started speaking, I was speaking up for other children who had been orphaned by AIDS. And I felt like you need to tell our stories so that the world doesn't forget about us. That's why I started speaking up. But now, fast forward, I'm living in LA, I'm booking tours across Canada, and now I'm chasing the bag because I want to keep up with the image of what are these people doing. And I'm scared that if I don't keep up with that, I'm going to lose my credibility,
Yeah.
you know? And that really spiraled. So, what am I saying? I'm saying that social media is a great tool when you know how to use it and you can respect its power, but it does have challenges when you don't have a clear sense of self and you start using it to try and pacify the places that actually need real work in your life, right? Otherwise, the trauma just spills over, and it's a platform. So whatever it is you're going through internally, you start to play out externally,
Exactly.
which damages a lot of professional relationships, damages a lot of personal relationships, and also can get you spiraling where you actually don't know who you are.
Yeah. That was a nice one from Dream. Yeah, that was.
Man, I lived that. That was real talk.
And from Jermaine, from your perspective, has social media changed for the better, or are we losing something important in the process?
Mm.
Well, that's a really great question. I would say it lies on the users who make use of the platform, because this platform, they are not making use of themselves.
Exactly.
Social media has really impacted our lives. Like I would say, for instance, now anyone in any part of the world with just an internet connection can have access to knowledge and informations at their fingertips.
Exactly.
So the problem we have here is just that we are bombarded with lots of information. So it's hard for you to differentiate between what's valuable and true and what's harmful and false. So I would say the users making use of this platform, they should take it upon themselves to make social media a tool for them rather than a distraction. They should use social media to chase their goals and aspirations. You can go online on YouTube and take free courses on whatever you tend to learn online.
That's true. I've learned so much from YouTube. I feel like
See.
YouTube is a free online university whereby
Exactly.
you don't pay tuition fee.
Mhm.
The only tuition fee you pay is your same data you use in scrolling non-stop on social media. So a follow-up question: how do you personally set boundaries to avoid getting overwhelmed on social media? This goes for both of you.
Personal boundaries.
Personally, how do you personally set boundaries to avoid getting overwhelmed?
Overwhelmed.
Yes.
Actually, I can take that because I actually wanted to agree with the point you made. My mentor shared with me when I was really struggling and doing some embarrassing things online. Can't believe that was me. She was like, "Girl, you either use this thing as a tool
Yeah.
or you use it because you're having fun.
Exactly.
That's it." What does that tell you? It means you need to approach it because you already are in a frequency of value within yourself, right?
Yes.
So that like someone like Jermaine, I'm going on there because I know this is what I want to do.
Exactly.
Then you really benefit really well.
True.
Or I'm sharing this because I'm owning the moment. I'm already in my reality. Then there's abundance in that.
Yeah.
But when you don't have boundaries, like I noticed with myself, so part of my whole breaking down in my book, You'll Learn, is in this big moment where I have these thousands of followers, I'm actually buying followers. On top of having followers, I'm now buying them.
When you supposed to do that tomorrow?
Bro, I was suffering. I was like looking like, how many K I've got now? How many K's like, you know? And now I'm buying the followers and still have a low sense of self-worth, trying to be everywhere, be seen everywhere. And I didn't know that actually dilutes your presence
Yeah.
and your brand,
Yeah, it
right?
does.
Because it's like, why should I invest in that? It's everywhere, right? What happened was I was, because I was struggling with the trauma stuff back home with depression and anxiety. When I had a nervous breakdown, I would go on social media and literally have these emotional outbursts. You understand? Because what I'm looking for are friends. I'm thinking people on social media are my friends.
Nah.
That get your friends. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm thinking that these are people who support my brand. These people believe in me. They support my story. So now when I'm having a fight with you, I'm going to take it there because that's the platform in my head. And I did some really embarrassing things, like even with my own relationship, like I would just be so messy because I didn't have those boundaries until I needed to learn. Like, first of all, that is not a space for this. You have to, first of all, have your own boundaries for your health that ensure that you are in a sane and stable emotional and psychological state, because your social media is just going to reflect what's happening in your own life, number one.
Exactly.
Number two, I needed to check myself that if I'm not okay, don't go on social media. Because like Jim Quick, the brain guy who does like these great books and courses about social media, he put out this research that said if you wake up in the morning and immediately go on the doom scroll,
Yeah.
you're programming your mind to whatever it is that's on your algorithm
Yes.
page, right?
That's true.
Exactly. And one of the best things you need to do for your brain is when you wake up, take about 20-30 minutes where you're actually in your reality, where you master your reality, move in silence, set the intention for your day, your goal. So that's having a boundary,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Because now you're not going to, like what I did, which was crazy, is I started thinking virtual reality was reality.
Nah, it's
You understand?
it's the name, visual.
Yeah.
It's just gonna remain visual.
See,
It can never be same reality with.
so those boundaries are necessary. So being able to have your own process of self-care where you really check in with yourself so that by the time you go into the social media, you know what you're there for. You know that this is a tool, I'm here to engage, and you represent yourself and your interests in the best way possible. And what that does is it allows you to also become an enforcer of boundaries on social media. You're not going to engage with people who are toxic or unhealthy to you.
That's
You're not
setting
going to
a
put yourself in spaces that are in violation of what you say you stand for.
Yes.
But I think it begins with the personal boundaries that you have for yourself
Exactly.
so that it can work in your favor.
So I would add to that. When it comes to personal boundaries, this social media, I won't call it social media, I'll call it interest media.
Interest.
Yeah.
We're learning.
Because this,
Teach us about that.
because the algorithm right now, it's positioned to show you whatever you are interacting with. Whatever you comment on, you like, the algorithm will keep showing you those kind of contents.
True. It's very, very much customizable than it was,
Yeah.
like say 2-3 years ago.
Have you ever felt like you were thinking about something, you logged into the platform, you see that those kind of contents on your feed? So if you don't like
Let's be
something,
honest, sometimes they're spying, right? because I say stuff on my phone. You know, it's,
Yeah.
why are you selling me that?
Then
It's worth.
then there's an option you click on not interested.
Exactly.
They do that. Algorithm would show you those kind of contents again. Whatever you don't like, you just click on not interested. Stop showing to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like the algorithm is just there to expose who you are to yourself. So you take it upon yourself to curate your feed to suit your own needs. So this platform, they have already done their own job of making the platforms easier for people to just take away the trash and stick to whatever you want. If you want to see just motivational stuff, just keep interacting with motivational stuff. If it's a business stuff, interact with those kind of content, and you keep seeing those kind of things. It will keep showing you more things you are interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me personally, I feel like social media became customizable not quite long. And then it's been interesting since then because on my page, right, if I feel like okay, this week I'm developing my short film I'm writing because I do it like at least 2 or 3 times a week. I just develop because I'm writing a short film right now. It's about like 7 minutes. I want it to be like up to 15 minutes. So every day throughout my life and everything, I just put everything together, and then at the end of the day, I just try to put something to it. So for my social media, if I say okay, today I want a fashion concept to shoot for for a fashion brand I have, and then I just search one particular fashion brand or a creative director I know there, and then I start liking the pictures or start checking their reels. The more time I spend in checking what I was thinking about to do or what exactly the creative director or the fashion people are doing, that is the more engagement or the more things that comes up on my timeline. And it's easy to actually even set the boundaries, and especially with what you said. Like you can also put non-interested. You know,
Yeah.
the other team knows you want this. It can see you having this, but at the same time, it can just send a distraction on your timeline that is not even related to what you're viewing. So it's left for you to either move out from where you were and go to what the algorithm is trying to show you, or say not interested. And also setting boundaries, it doesn't have to do with what we interact with or what we watch or whatever. It still has to do with who we look up to on social media,
Yeah, exactly.
who we think are good role models and who we think are bad role models, who we see their lives on social media without knowing them personally. I would try want to be like them
Yeah.
based on their profile. Those are part of the boundaries. I feel like a lot of youth and a lot of adults has lost their sense of purpose because they've called someone a mentor, and then the person they call a mentor, they don't know that person to a deep level of.
They don't know real.
They don't know the person, the reality of that person.
Yeah.
I've seen so many people project a certain person they are on social media, and then when you get to know them personally, it's different.
It's different.
So we can also send boundaries by the people we interact with, the people who are allowed to follow us,
Yeah.
people who follow, and the content in general. So let's dive into the second segment. The second segment, the big word, the dark side, mental health and comparison. Let's talk about something that affects a lot of people: social media and mental health. Study shows that excessive social media use is linked to anxiety, depression, and even addiction. Have you ever struggled with this personally? This goes to either one of you.
So I would say anyone aimlessly scrolling through social media does not have anything to do with their life, because if you have a business or something you're doing, you will just go online and start scrolling. Because when you start scrolling, 5 minutes to you, you check your time, it's already an hour.
You don't even know when it gets to 5 minutes if you are scrolling. Honestly, you think it's just one.
You think it's 5 minutes, but it's an hour.
5 minutes already, bro. 1 hour you've been scrolling.
You're scrolling aimlessly. So it's really, I would say it's addictive if you don't have something going on for your own self. Because if you have something going on for your own self and you're actually, let's say you are not running a business that's online but a physical business, you'll be focused on that business rather than going online, scrolling aimlessly, just looking through other people's content.
I feel dragged because, like, I'm an artist and I have a studio at home. And I have moments where I'm like, girl, you should be in the studio. Like, I literally have paintings I'm working on.
Yeah, I've seen some of the ones.
Yeah, and honestly, I have to be honest. I wish I could say I was there. I'm struggling with that. Like, I have the boundaries, but I don't know if it's because I'm a mommy, and I have a full life like that. I have moments where even like I'll go on social media because I want to search something, and then gives me even better things because it knows me better than
Yes.
I know myself sometimes.
Yeah.
And then I'll find myself doom scrolling sometimes where it's like 40 minutes in. And then I'll tell myself, oh, come on, I've earned this. It's been such a hectic day. My daughter's bathing. I can sit here and scroll. And then, like, before you know it, it's 50 minutes. And then I feel embarrassed because I know better. But let's be honest, guys, like the way this UX is designed is to literally, that's why the screens are so big, right?
Yes.
The technology of it is to get us concentrated. And the interface is such an enjoyable activity.
Like you don't even
The
know
way you're
the
just
sense
scrolling,
when you're scrolling.
you feel like this algorithm knows you.
Effect.
That's the psychological effect
Correct.
of it, you know. And I still find myself being challenged by that, where I think I was saying to myself a week ago, I need to because the thing with my algorithm is I've done a good job at curating.
Yeah.
So now I'm surrounded by so many things I love from my algorithm. If I search for fashion, it's gonna give me even better things that I didn't even know existed.
Okay.
So now the challenge I'm facing is that abundance of there's so much that I love that I now need to check myself, maybe give myself time to say, maybe you're gonna go on here for 10 minutes and then put it down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm one of the people you're dragging right now. I'll be on there.
I'm still one of them, right?
But
But I justify myself sometimes, and for me, I would say if I justify myself for it, then it's probably right. Because sometimes when I'm wrong, I might be right. You get me?
just hate the feeling after.
Yes.
You know the feeling where you're like, I can't believe I
I've wasted a lot
So
of
sometimes
I've waited
when
for a lot
I'm
of time. I
scrolling,
know better.
like just scrolling on social media. One thing with me is I don't scroll without intention. If that's also like a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Yes, I don't scroll without intention. If you see me scrolling, it's because either I'm working on a music video project, or I'm working on a brand, or I'm working on a commercial, and I feel overwhelmed from the concept I've been physically putting together. I want inspiration, or I want to see a different side view. That's when I start scrolling. So I don't know if that's
So how do you know when you found what you're looking for?
okay. That
'Cause I think that's what I need to learn.
yeah, that is a good question to Sometimes I found what I'm looking for, right?
But you
But
keep
that is
going.
where
That's the
comparison
first
also
comes
comes in. I'll be like, this thing I found does this works best? Or I feel like let me keep going, I'll see something better. You know when you're searching for a picture or something on Google,
Yeah.
you don't just go for the first one you see.
Yeah.
You're trying to search deep and check if there is a better one on that. That's what happens to me. But I try to get the sense of when to cut it short
Yeah.
when I've probably saved, because most times I save the reels or some of the pictures or whatever I'm trying to find. Sometimes I save them. So when I'm scrolling, I also go back to my saved to reflect on what I'm scrolling for, so I don't get distracted.
So that's a good strategy.
Yes.
You could set like a number for yourself to say, I'm going for inspiration. I want to get 10 references
Exactly.
that I feel good about. And once I have that 10, I'm out of
And
here.
then I send them to myself, and then once I check if I have, sometimes I don't even have up to 10, because you see, getting to 10 also makes you spend more time.
Yeah.
But it's very tricky.
Yeah.
The thing is very comfortable, bro. It's very harmless.
Addictive.
You can just be sitting in your bed, or you can be in your car, or you can be in a public place, and then after 10 minutes, bro, you're already locked in. Like you're high, you even lost the sense of where you are.
where you are on
social media, and it's very, very bad. So for Jamen, this goes to you. Because I would say on a different personal level, whereby I know two of you, you've used social media, your positive impact to social media is not by being a visible person to social media. And then your positive impact to social media is by being a good visible person to social media, because you've been a public speaker and so many lives has been changed from the things they've listened to you speak. And then you've been a good social media user that you've been able to like he also is the one that put me onto team pages. So he has been able to use social media to generate money for himself, start up so many
That's on his
business.
profile. So you do what's called, is it like faceless accounts?
Exactly.
Where it's more about the content itself.
Yes, exactly. So
That's incredible.
he has been able to get much from social media without even appearing.
See, that's part level.
You see this shirt I'm wearing now?
Yeah.
Many people who have seen it, I'd be like, wow, is this a new brand or whatever it is? You would never know the owner face to
owners
face.
of it.
But the name of the brand and the Instagram or socials could go viral without you knowing the name. So this question goes directly to you, Jamen. How can someone use social media without letting it to affect their self-esteem?
I would say first of all, the self-esteem it's with you, it's not with someone else.
Exactly.
Most people
It's about your
they
self-esteem.
most people they go online and they tend to compare their lives with that of others,
Yeah.
which is the very reason why they lack self-esteem. when you go online, you see people, what they show on social media is definitely just their highlight reel, the flashy moments of their life where they don't post their successes. So you compare yourself with someone else, that's one of the biggest criteria for low self-esteem, because now you start feeling inadequate. You feel like you're not enough. You feel like that person has everything figured out because they've created an idealized version of themselves
Online.
that you don't even know their physical life, and which is definitely far from perfect, and you don't know that. So comparison, it stems from, that's low self-esteem stems from comparison. So I would say, let's say you are somebody, you know that you are good at photography, you can paint, you can code, you have these skills, so your confidence lies in those things.
Exactly. Not what you're looking at someone else doing better than you.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when you see this, there are lots of people, they don't even have a their life experience is very boring. They don't try things, they don't do things, they're just there. So when you have all these things surrounding your life is full in various aspects. You tend to gain confidence from within instead of from outside validations. Even even people going to the gym, I'm definitely sure they are very, very confident in themselves because
Yeah, I'm very confident of myself. I'm very, very sorry to cut it short, right? I'm very surprised I'm not the person that trying to run twice a week. I go to the gym like 4 times a week. There are
Wow.
too many things I've changed about myself. And then sometimes I pause and then I reflect. I'll be like, I was not pushed to make any of this decision. I didn't look up to somebody. I feel like, yeah, this guy is going to gym. Let me go to gym. No, although I see people going to the gym, it also motivates me because I've seen stories of whereby someone is probably very, very small. They try to get
They have a
bulky and then,
transformation.
yes, those transformations. So I didn't actually have a discussion with someone or have to look at someone and belittle myself before I started those things.
But
It's a
it came
conver-
from within.
it's a conversation I have from within. I was like,
Yeah.
yes, I need to take my head serious.
yeah, you can't find
Yes,
it anywhere.
that is it. You can't really find
Even
it
a book
everywhere.
can't give you that.
So you're
Give you.
very, very right. The confidence come from within, and then that's also boosts your self-esteem.
Yeah.
When you've stacked up various achievements, you tend to go back to these things and be like, I've done this, I've done that, so
Yeah.
I can definitely do better.
Exactly. So this goes to dream according to what I explained. I know you guys on a different perspective of how you
Mhm.
guys have used social media. So the pressure to constantly post, engage, stay relevant can be exhausting. Do you think social media forces people to create a perfect life online? Because before you start, you said remember you had a very, very high profile, very, very engagement, and
Yeah.
like you've gained so many connections.
Yeah.
I feel like for so many people, they will be very, very sad to want to start all over again because of the perfect profile they've
Yeah, for
gotten,
sure.
the perfect connection, the perfect people they've made from that profile. So let me read the question again so you get it very clear. The pressure to constantly post,
Yeah.
engage, stay relevant can be very exhausting.
Yeah.
Do you think social media forces people to create a perfect life online?
Well, I don't know if it forces people to do that. I think social media, just like every element in reality, gives you many possibilities, you know? What I can say is, I think what's important is how you define yourself. Like during my dark era, where to the outside, I was like showing the success, right? The thing about social media that made that felt like I needed to keep up and I needed to compete. The industry I was in, speaking, being a public profile figure, I was misusing that because, like I said, I felt like it's only if I was in that activity of posting and people giving me recognition that I would feel normal or like I'm doing a good job at life. That's
Okay.
not social media's
No,
fault.
that is not social media
That's not social. That's me using social media
wrongly.
to fill voids
Exactly.
that will never be
Seek
filled.
validation.
And that was me misusing people and my audience and influence to try and medicate places in me that were wounded and needed actual attention. Right? We need to
Yes.
know the difference.
Exactly.
So I can sit and feel lonely or broken and depressed But I can go online and post a very sexy
Very
picture
smiling picture.
and then get all this attention and then misdirect that attention to the place that is wounded.
Yeah.
But nothing is actually happening there.
That's him.
And the real thing that is happening on like a reality scale is that I'm now creating a false persona. Every time you engage in life, you're creating expectation.
Yeah.
People are engaging with you based on something you're putting out. So now you're going to have to keep up with it because that's what you're telling people you're about.
Exactly.
So you kind of now created your own sickness, right? Because now you've got to go for that next fix over and over. And I don't think that social media is responsible for that. For me, I had to deactivate my account because at that point, I realized that I was not living my truth, that I was a fake person. I was living a fake version of my life. And even though it was successful, because I won't lie, like after I came back to South Africa, I couldn't get a lot of business, even though I have been speaking for over a decade, even though I had spoken at the White House and I've done all this work. I couldn't get work because people would look at my new page and it's got like 200 people.
True.
You understand? And now I'm competing with influencers who have never really, let's say, done some of the stuff that I've had to do in the industry to earn my stripes. But I'm in their shadow because I don't have 1 million followers. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
But the reason I've been able to survive that and to sit here right now with my 1,000 followers, and I love my community because it feels real to me and I feel authentic about who I am and the engagement feels authentic. The reason I was able to walk away from that is because I knew that I couldn't keep up with that. If I was going to keep that big account,
It's gonna drain you too much and you will lose yourself.
yeah, because also I have real people on the other side of that who have been cultured and groomed on a certain version of me that I now am realizing this was never a real version of me.
Yeah.
This was
Never
me
your
chasing an
authentic self.
image. Yes. So I felt like it was the price I needed to pay for getting lost in that. Otherwise, I couldn't keep up with that.
That
And I
was a
had to
good
let it
step.
go. And I had times where I felt like it was the biggest mistake because like I said, I couldn't get work. I couldn't get brand deals. But the cool thing is because I wasn't getting work, I was pushed against the wall to say, well, if people are not going to hire you, then how are you going to create a space for yourself in the industry that you want to be in? And now, fast forward, I'm doing things and there's no competition because I'm competing with myself.
Exactly, you're on your own lane.
And I'm growing very organically and I'm meeting people at the right time who can then take me to the next level. But it's not happening in the ways that it used to before where I'm trying to put myself on like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a nice one. That's a very, very nice one. For me, I feel like you said, it's not social media that is pushing people
Yeah.
to be perfect or like show a perfect life. It's how you are or how you view yourself as a person and how you decide to reflect yourself as a person to the social media world. You see, many things people post on social media, right? I feel like many people use social media for different reasons. Maybe like Jamen right here, social media is a platform whereby it can make money, network, and also meet people and do like a lot of good things he also going to talk about for himself. And then for you, you've made a lot of impact on social media. And then like your story where we begin, you didn't even know you were branding yourself by the time you started speaking, taking pictures
Yeah.
and sort of things like that. Those are your actual lifestyle you really wanted.
Yeah.
And those are the things you actually wanted to do as a person. And then you just happen to bring them on social media so other people could see it and get motivated.
Yes.
Not like let's say you are
Creating it
you are
all.
you are a false image, you are a chef in real life, and then you try to deny the whole personality of a chef in real life and then want to be a DJ on social media. Like the lapses
It's a big gap.
like the lapses are gonna show.
Yeah.
So it's not social media really forcing us to give a perfect life. It's the individual not being satisfied with who they really are in person
Yeah.
and then deciding to project an image on social media.
Also, maybe not knowing where to go or just looking. Who said it? Looking for love in the wrong places.
Yeah.
That's all it is. We're looking for love,
Yeah.
right?
Validation.
Strip club. What are they looking for? Everybody's looking for love, man. We don't have to hate on each other or like judge each other. I think the whole reason we even begin to look up to people is because they inspire us.
Exactly.
You understand? But I think the reality and the hard truth that I've had to learn, even as a child of God, is that if I'm created in the image of God, then it means I have every element of creative power in me.
Yes.
And I need to sit with that and be responsible for what it means to be alive. I need to take responsibility of my life
Exactly.
so that I'm not depending on anything outside of myself to fill me, you know? But I think it all starts from that feeling of waking up and needing something and not knowing that you have to generate that internally. But when you go externally, then of course, anything that feels good, we're going to attach to it because we're human.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think Jamen will have much light to throw on this last question for this segment. If social media disappeared today, how would that impact you?
That's tough.
You see what I'm saying?
That's my
Because this guy has a profile of let's say over almost 300k followers.
Yeah. That's
The
incredible.
faceless profile.
Organic.
Organic, like everyone there is real.
I would say it would be, I don't know yet. Maybe if it happens, I will know it. Because actually, I started my team page because I was in a dark place and I wanted to put down a footprint for anybody going through what I was going through. How do they be able to come out of it for themselves? I wanted to just lay the foundation down.
Beautiful.
Let's say the content I watched those days that helped me.
Exactly.
I tried to put out those kind of stuffs. So I
Created that.
I,
bit.
I literally did it for myself, not for others.
Oh, I love that. That's good.
So I did it for myself.
So let's say like I don't know if you guys have there was one movie I watched on Netflix. I don't remember the name too well, but in the beginning, what made me watch the movie, the trailer,
Yeah.
the whole connection, lights, network, and everything just went off, and then there was a message that came
Zero
up on
day.
the screen. Exactly, that's the name of the movie.
This will
And then it
happen
said,
again.
"This will happen again."
So
We know, like that's the movie. Like,
Yeah.
well, let's say tomorrow we wake up, right?
Yeah.
And then we pick our phone, and then we try to log in WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and then it show you app cannot be found.
Yeah.
What would you do in such situation?
what would I do?
Yes, like
It's really
your
tough, but
business, everything you build.
there's always a way to go around things when they do happen.
Yes.
Because without the world has already existed without social media, and I'm sure we'll definitely be able to live with it. Live without it or with
That
it.
is one. That is a good one. So let's go to our third segment, right? Now we are at the third segment.
Mm-hmm.
So the question goes this way: solutions and responsibility. Who should fix social media? We've talked about the positive and negative of social media. Now the big question is, who is responsible for fixing these challenges? Should it be the platform like Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, or is it up to the users to change how they interact with social media? It's an open question, but since I'm looking at you first, I want to hear from you, Jamen.
The platforms that are trying their very best to make their platforms a conducive environment for users. So I'll put it upon the users to take it upon themselves to make sure they use it as a tool and make sure they use it correctly. And when it comes to users, we have two kinds of users, which are those who consume the content, which is normal, regular people,
Okay.
and influencers and creators. Those people actually making those contents. So for the influencers, they have a very, very strong influence whereby they have like cult-like followers that tend to watch whatever they do and tend to mimic what they do. So with that kind of power also comes great responsibility because they have the ability to make people think the way they want in a certain way. They have the ability to make users, or I would say their followers, act in a certain way and even perceive themselves in a certain way because of the causes they advocate for, kind of content they put out, their lifestyle choices they share on social media.
Yes.
So I would say they should take it upon themselves to actually think about the other person on the other side watching those content. If that content is actually good for the world, if they're actually doing something that will actually benefit someone else instead of their own self gratifications. Because right now, a lot of influencers they take advantage of their following. They tend to put out stuff that would just be beneficial for themselves, and ultimately they end up destroying themselves over time in the long run. Though it's not sustainable.
As much as I would like to agree with you, I would also like to disagree with you.
Okay.
There is a popular saying that if a cat stays with the dog for too long, the cat start acting like the dog.
Okay.
And I feel like not everyone on social media are emotionally intelligent or are very, very well intelligent as a person to actually navigate what's wrong, what's best, or how to go about it. Some of us actually got into social media with no idea of what we are doing there, what this is, and then we picked interest from what we saw.
Okay.
And it's a platform that gave us what we saw. So I feel like in that aspect, the platform was wrong in giving me what I saw when I was clueless about what's all this really are. So I would like
I
to
would, I would,
through more
I
light.
would say we all know what's good and what's bad.
Okay.
So
What if I because let's say for real or in reality now, there is no much restriction to being on social media. Anyone that has a phone, that has an internet is possibly able to go on social media, undermining the age. So we have 10-year-old on social media, 15-year-old. Most of them doesn't know the impact or the exact meaning of the content they're taking in. But the content came their way because they are on the social media, not like they requested for the content. So what would you say
So
in that?
if you go to the underlying factor of a 10-year-old, then you put it on board the parents to educate the children and whatnot. And right now, this social media platform, they have content that an 18-year-old would not be able to see.
Yes.
And it's possible for parents to link their social media to that of their kids and be able to control what those kids see.
Yeah, that's also a good feature too. Like
It's about like censorship. I think that's
yes.
what we're seeing with TikTok in different countries as well. China and how it handles its social media. It's censorship, and I think it's tricky. I think it's a form of reality, just like every other reality. There are layers of responsibility. The platform itself has to be responsible for community guidelines and making sure it's a safe space for interaction.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, like, the platform can't be responsible for the personal choices you make, which then shape your algorithm and
Okay.
reflect your own mind back to you.
Okay.
So I feel like everything just boils down to, which is what I think you're saying as well, Jermaine, is it boils down to the person,
The
you know,
individual
the
and
individual.
how they decide to interact with it.
Exactly. Because for me, like, even with the example of, like, what was the example of the dogs?
The example was if a cat stays with a dog for too long, the cat starts acting like
Acting like a dog, right? Or in like, I think one conversation we had off camera was around smoking. For instance, that
yes.
if you're a non-smoker and then you're around smokers, you're exposed to the toxins of the smoke.
Yes,
And
even
passive smoke is dangerous, right?
Yeah.
But that's more user influence dynamics. The platform is the space that you're in, right?
Yes.
It's the reality. We're in studio right now. These people are responsible for giving us a structure that's not going to collapse on us.
Yes.
Because now it doesn't matter if we're people making good choices or not. You're going to die, right? That's the reality we're in. And then within the reality, there's the dynamic of the choices that we make. How we choose to represent ourselves and lead other people and also be led,
That's very, very correct.
So I think we're all responsible.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we are all responsible. I would agree to that, because I can't just fully agree because
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like I need to check
Gotta
what Darren
challenge.
is
It's
saying.
a good thing.
Like I need to check what this guy is saying. Is this guy saying the right thing? So I would say we are all responsible. It's just like someone complaining about the habit of overspending.
Yeah.
No one taps your card for you. You are the one ordering those things. You are the one putting your pin.
Yeah.
So yeah, the bank
Good.
already gave you an account.
Good.
The bank is not the one spending your money, so you cannot blame the bank for having an account with them and then say they are the reason you're overspending. You have to blame you have to blame yourself for not being responsible to spend in a responsible way.
And you know what's a good thing though is with every example we've set, because you make choices, that experience is always a gift, even if it feels like a bad experience. Everything is a reflection of you, right?
Yes,
Everything
true.
is a mirror of you.
Yeah.
So then you're able to look at that experience and say, okay, what is this telling me about myself? Right? And I can sit and make it about the bank. I can sit and make it about the social, not to absolve them of their responsibilities as institutions, but whatever mess I create, there has to be a message in that about how I am showing up and how
Yes.
I'm engaging in that.
True.
And these realities, they just reflect that back to ourselves. So if we can be like matured and be able to see our own SHIT, then we can call ourselves out and be like, you know what? I'm being too messy.
True.
I'm attracting the wrong thing. I'm not doing the right thing.
Amen.
And fix it. And then the mirror will change what it reflects.
Yeah. So a follow-up question. Should social media platform be regulated more by government? It's a big question mark on it. What do you think? Should social media be more regulated by government? Let's say the way in so many countries the government has uh much say of how crypto is being handled in so many countries. Like they regulate it so much in so many countries, and then I feel like they're doing it very well that they could know what goes in and what goes out, and then it help controls the economy for them. I don't know how it works. So let's put it in the aspect of social media. Let's say, for example, influencers that post, we know what they post, like just things to entertain themselves and stuff. And then let's say the government is now in now in control of social media, and then they'll be like, for influencers, you can only post twice a day. for for normal people, you can only post once a day. Like, what do we think? Is it possible? Should social media platform be regulated more by government, or it's just something they have no say about? I want to hear from you guys.
I would say the government are already trying their best to control the narratives around social media with censorships, and there are lots of things the government prohibits people to post online. That in UK now, you post some kind of content and the government will definitely arrest you for posting certain kind of content in the
For real?
UK. Yes.
Like you can't weaponize it. But at the
Okay.
same time, we don't like, I'm very big on personal power, right? I believe that you have a voice and a story, and that is your personal power in this world. And I don't think that any constitution or government should like, we've seen a lot of revolutions. The whole thing with Black Lives Matter and police shootings,
Yes.
we're able to get access to moments that in history could have been censored and
I
kept out
swear.
of the eye. We saw it as well with the
regulated social media.
yeah, we saw it as well with the, was it the Lekki massacre? It was a massacre in Nigeria. We watched that in real time. I'm even getting chills right now.
That went wide because of
Do you
social media,
understand?
the power of social media. Because I feel like if the government had control of social media
We all know
that time,
that
they
would
would
have been different.
silenced it as mostly far
Exactly.
as they could. Even with social media, they also try to say nothing like that happened. But
But we saw
where
it.
the important role of social media came in play, because now
Exactly.
people have videos, people have pictures, people
Exactly.
were there, and people shared the moment worldwide.
So I think that's one of the benefits of having social media, is that you can use your own God-given gifts, your creativity, your personal power to create and take up space in the world, and that we can also organize as communities to have voices. Because just because something is legal doesn't make it right,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, that's
Just
true.
because
Everyone does it, doesn't make sense.
exactly, just because it's government institution doesn't mean it's moral. So we do need a space where we can organize, but also it is responsible for protecting citizens, especially when you think of terrorists that can
Yes.
use these platforms to
Yes.
weaponize against
Yes.
communities. So it's tricky. I'm not a fan of like some big man in an office who has a job title saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I don't even know what the agenda behind those choices are. I'm not a fan of that.
Okay, another follow-up question. Do influencers and content creators have responsibility to promote healthier social media habits?
Yes, they do.
Give us
Because their actions can definitely create new trends and even leads to a kind of a revolution, I would say.
okay.
Because they can impact how people think, how people act, and
That's very, very true.
how people perceive themselves. There are certain people, they don't like to think for themselves. They want others to do that for them. So they tend to go with the choices of those they trust, which is these influencers. Just like you see these influencers flexing this kind of shoe or clothes,
Yes.
you have that, they are like, the credibility would make you trust what they are doing. So you tend to mimic what they do.
Exactly.
So I would say they play a crucial role in social media culture. Definitely 100%.
I will agree with you for this one because I've seen it play out myself. Do you know it's funny how much influence people online have on people offline?
Yeah.
Like it's very, very funny. let's start with a musical artist. You could see an artist with over 1 million listener monthly on their Spotify or Apple Music, and then inside that 1 million, some are regular listeners, like 20%. Maybe they just like the beat, they just like the sound, and then like 40% of that listener want to be like the person singing. Like you don't know this person offline, but they have too much influence. You can see an artist come online with his particular style of an outfit, and then they already have like a high,
They mimic it.
and they already have high engagement and high following and all that. And then in the next few weeks, you already see like the whole of certain area or even a country trying to mimic that.
Yeah.
Let's say a person of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
You see that is zoo, like that thing it does whenever it
Grand
goes.
power.
Do you know how many people would want to be like Ronaldo just because of seeing how he's done that stuff he do? So I feel like there is too much influence of social media on people offline. We're not even talking about online. Yes, we get it, but now it's driving into offline. Like even while we are not scrolling, even while we are not looking at
But
social
you know what I
media.
think that's happening? I think it's happening because we're looking for love.
Exactly.
We want belonging, right? I think as humans, part of our animal nature is community, is to be connected in society. So even if you don't know Cristiano Ronaldo, when you see the people in your life who are the cool kids doing the cool thing, you want to attach to that cool thing.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you're doing the thing. And it feels good because now you're connected to something
Yeah.
bigger. Again, I think it's social media showing us that it's a mirror. So now let's reverse that. Like I'm now coming from a place where I had to delete my media because I was being mentored by Oprah. I was so amazed by Oprah. I wanted to be Oprah. But I didn't realize I was actually pretending to be Oprah.
You've
Because I really thought,
lost your own identity.
and I lost my identity in Oprah. And this is someone who opened doors for me. This is someone who would say, be yourself. But I didn't know what it meant to be myself. And I don't think she's hating on me because I'll be like, this is me. And I didn't know that I'm using my ability to be an actress and pretend to be somebody. And I'm thinking that it's me. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I needed to cancel all of that so that I could rediscover myself, which means
That was
now
a
I
good
have
step.
to, you know what I mean? But it's what I had to be real with myself to say the version that I've led with, I loved it. I know people loved it, but that girl is suffering behind the scenes. She's self-medicating on weed to fall asleep. Her relationships are falling apart. She is so unhappy and miserable, and it's not real.
And these are
see?
things people offline don't see.
These are things
because-
people offline don't
because you
see.
projected only the good part. Do you know sometimes sorry to cut you, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes when I scroll on social media and then I see someone with a reel, like the person is crying.
yeah.
Do you know what I ask myself? Is it that this person intentionally put the camera there and then wanted to shoot something happy and then something bad happened and then they started crying?
Being the
But
person who's
they
crying.
put the camera there to actually cry to the camera.
It's just simply attention. We need attention.
Yes. Because the attention in your mind feels like love,
Yes.
but it's not.
Yes.
It's just attention.
Just
Exactly.
don't care about you.
Those people, or maybe they might, but I don't, you know who explained this really good? A marketer in the United States. He said, what people need to understand about fame is that, you know, if you're driving on the road and there's a road accident,
Yeah.
what happens? You drive and then you look at the accident and
Exactly.
you go, oh my God.
You drive by.
And then you keep driving.
Exactly.
That's the reality. That's it. So it's not that we're not friends or what, but it's like, sis, it's not that deep.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to look at that moment and then we're going to remember you for that moment. And then other people who are associated with you are going to remember you for that moment, you know? But I just wanted to say on the other point of like, when people attach to love with the Cristiano Ronaldo point, the whole reason I was sharing my story about what happened when I had to cut myself off the social media that I'd built is now on the flip end, I'm starting from scratch and I have to find my own style. So that I'm not dressing like Oprah, my mentor who inspires me. I have to talk as myself. I have to be myself. So now I can go to the trends and I can go to the moments where people are moving in big numbers and I can look at who the people I want to connect with are and what they're doing. And I think that's the gift of it.
Yes.
I can go to the hashtags and the platforms and be like, oh, what are the Gen Zs doing? What are the millennials doing? What are they wearing? Because I want to be with them as well. I want to connect with them. Now you can use that information strategically so that when you're buying your clothes, you know that I'm going to get some corporate, but I'm going to mix it up with something cool because I want my platform to invite younger people.
Yeah, so let's just go to the last segment before we go to let's take the last follow-up question on this segment before we go to the last segment. So the question is, if you had the power to change one major thing about social media today, what would it be? Dream. If you had the power to change one thing on social media, let's say if you had the power to say there will be like a post review. You have to submit your post to Instagram to review it.
Yeah.
Before they allow it. I think there was something like that. Was it Facebook or is it Too Good? There was an app that actually needs to preview what you have to post before they approve it. So let's say if you have the power to change one thing, one major thing on social media, what would it be?
I would build in a tool to help someone like me have a reminder when they've gone on for too long. I would build something where every time I go in, I have to set an intention of why I'm here. It doesn't have to be like a long form or whatever. Like, why are you here? What you looking for?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm trying to get this and this and this. It's like, cool. And then you go and explore. I don't know how practical this is, but when I'm in the zone, like I said, I know that iPhone tries to do this. You know, it does it when it says, oh, it's now your sleep time, or
Yeah.
you
can
know what I mean?
just remind us too.
Yeah, you
But
can
you can
do.
also overlook them too. You just like snoozing your morning alarm because you feel
I know. But maybe social media could have that responsibility, because then the doom scrolling is a real thing.
Yes.
And we say it's harmless because you're chilling in bed or in your car, but it
Yes.
actually is harmful when you look at how it impacts your brain. Like the physical structure of your brain changes
Yes.
because you're taking in that screen time, you know? That's the only thing I would say. Is like, let me know when I'm tripping. Like, let me know when which they're not going to do because they're making money.
Exactly.
Platform,
For Jamen,
they do have
if you
restrictions.
had the power to change one major thing on social media, what would you change?
I would say I would limit the time people can post every day. I would say
Just like Elon Musk did with is it Twitter? I
Really?
think it limited how many
With X.
could tweet with X or something like that.
no,
It's
that,
not unlimited.
it's not
Is
limited.
it interaction or posting? Because I felt like I saw something like you cannot scroll more than some certain number of posts, and
It shows you some things like that sometimes.
okay, such little restriction like that. For me, I feel like what you said is nice, and we also stay on the same point. Like if we could get a reminder or something that could actually tell us when we are doing it too much, or something that could stop us while we doom scrolling. Sometimes I'm just scrolling with intention for some things I want to do, and then there are some reels that doesn't have hashtags, that doesn't have anything, but you will just see the person telling you, this should be your last reel. What are you doing with your life?
Yeah.
You've been scrolling. Like it's as if
Those
that
are
person is
helpful.
an automatic stopper. Like you feel like sometimes I feel dragged, and when I see such reels,
Yeah.
I actually stop from there. I'll be like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Those are
you
helpful.
got me. And then I stop scrolling. I'll be like, yeah, this guy just called me out. There was one I saw. The person was just saying everything I was doing on scrolling that day. I was actually scrolling with that intention because I was tired, and then I couldn't sleep, so I was in my bed just scrolling. And the guy was just saying everything. Yeah, you went through a long day. Now you're on your phone feeling like this is the only place you could get real relaxation.
Yeah.
After everything he said, I was like, yeah, thank you for calling me. And then I just logged out. I was like, that is it. So if we could actually, for me, if I could
Or maybe
change
we
something,
would build healthier apps.
yes.
Like, why aren't we thinking like that?
Yes.
Right?
But no matter how healthier the app we could also be, because I feel like most of these apps also started up as healthier apps before they get exposed to the wrong hands, like influencers and creators, because they mostly now shape the reality of how people want to be on social media, like the influence they have on people and everything. So I'm also agreeing with your point. If we could have something that could tell us, yes, we're going over time on what we're supposed to do, then it's gonna be nice.
These platforms, they have those kind of features.
They
Screen
do?
time
Screen time. Yeah, you can set your screen time too. Yeah, true.
Through the phone or through the social
through
media
the social media platforms.
Really?
Yeah, you can go on your social media platform and you see how much of
Screen
your
time
time
you
is
spend. Then you can limit it.
Yeah, it's
Then
possible.
it's gonna show you like you've
Yeah.
okay,
I'm
that's
gonna need
nice.
to set that up
Okay,
today.
let's dive into the last segment of our today's social media discussion. It's been a wonderful time, and we've actually touched a lot of important parts of social media people need to hear. So the last segment is the future of social media. Social media is constantly evolving. New platform, AI generated content, even movement pushing for digital detours. What do even movement pushing for digital detours? What do you think the future of social media looks like in the next 10 years? Let's before we answer this question, let's take ourselves back memory lane to 10 years back. How was social media? 10 years back, how was social media for you? Like, what were you doing with it, your interaction and everything? And then in the next 10 years again, what do you think could have changed? I feel like right now we are in the fast times, like we are growing too fast. Things are being developed too fast. So 10 years from now, I feel like
It's
by
hard to say.
I feel like by then social media you should be able to what example should I say? You should be able to stream your post like in live where you are. You don't have to post it. You just have to press post and then you are live showing there. I don't know what I have to
Possible.
say.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think you or what do you think the future of social media looks like in the next 10 years?
Do you want to go? I think he has an
Oh,
answer.
okay. I would say while we can be here making educated guesses, the full impact is totally unpredictable.
Okay.
But one thing I know for sure is that as social media evolves, businesses and entrepreneurs will have to adapt quickly in order to stay relevant. Because right now, social media has already reshaped marketing, customer engagement, and even how products are being developed.
Yes.
So it will be very hard for us to predict how it will actually go. But I would say
Yes.
right now we're already in an era of AI and visual spaces. So I think AI will definitely be more deeply integrated into social media platforms, which we already see now, like on platforms like Snapchat and Pinterest.
Not even only Pinterest. I feel like it's almost everywhere now. You can
Those
AI assistant on WhatsApp, AI assistant on Instagram, even your normal Google. You search something and then AI assistant will be the one to give you an answer before the actual Google searches.
those are the main platforms actually really integrating those AIs into their platforms. It's just like what we were talking about the other day. You can go on Pinterest or Snapchat. Let's say we actually stream this podcast.
Yes.
As you watch this podcast, you can definitely click on each and everybody's t-shirts or shoes and shop them live directly as you watch the podcast directly. You can just click on just touch
What he's wearing, what
that's
he's
it.
holding, and just chop.
Because of the AI, to be able to dictate.
That would be a good and a bad thing. But let me be excited about the deep pass because I mean it's good. It's
Good and it's scary.
just like this t-shirt I'm wearing. It's possible, no guys. You see the t-shirt I'm wearing is written average is a new failure. As we're talking live on this podcast, you can just go to Instagram and search for creatingwords.com. You will see their online store and you can just buy it and you can look fly like me in the next 10 minutes.
What I'm trying to say, you don't need to search.
Exactly.
Just-
Now he says
You don't need to
click.
search.
It's just gonna show.
Tap on the person's t-shirts.
Whoa, that's gonna be nice, bro. That's gonna be a real improvement.
I recently watched a movie, and I hate that I forget the name because it was just this weekend, but it was scary. So it's a movie between there's this conflict between the robots and humans, and I'll just go through this very fast. But the robot industry built this whole neural system that runs through this young boy's mind who's super smart, and they're able to reshape the world. There's a war between the robots and humans, and the robots lose. So what happens with the humans? Because as you're asking this question, I'm like, social media kind of goes in trends. When I think 10 years ago, I was still using it. Like people gather for events and whatever, then I would use it to showcase. Then that would put more gathering,
Yeah.
and I can still see a future where we still using it to gather to push the work. But then that movie that I watched showed me something different where instead of people now gathering for events, you put on this like
Visual
social thing,
Yeah.
and then now you're in the virtual space
Yeah,
with
it's augmented reality.
augmented reality. And now they're like
Yeah.
two versions of you. There's the potato version that's actually sitting at home.
Yes.
There's the one that's in one reality
That is
according to this
attending a
movie.
meeting or something.
And then another one who's in another reality, which is now scary because that cycle still continues of events.
It's already happening.
You
It's
see,
happening real.
that's really scary for me because now
Mental
it
health
means
is real.
we
It's
can
already real because right now you can go put on your augmented reality and shop online. You see, there are already brands building shops in visual spaces whereby you can just go on.
But like when we think of events, and
Yeah,
activations.
they're already doing those kind of stuff.
You see,
doing facial
that scares me as a creator because my industry, my work thrives on human interactions and humans being together.
Have to be present.
And yeah,
Actually
I
present.
would say you don't have to be scared of those kind of stuff because it will actually make your work much more easier
but my work
and
is
much
all
more.
about psychological healing and connecting to your body. So now I'm worried if we are meeting in a virtual place. Let's say I'm here.
You don't have to do it more often.
Because here's the thing though, is if I'm here, I'm here as a human. We're here as humans. And let's say we have virtual people and it's positive because I have people in Canada, America, they're in the room with us. But we're talking about mind body connection. And what if the body version of you that's sitting at home hasn't bathed, you're obese, you're smoking cigarettes and puffing weed same time, but you're still here with us. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Right?
Yes.
But I'm saying those are the scary challenges because
True.
I had to get myself out of bed today, even though my mind was like, yo, we tired. And I was like, no, I made a commitment. I'm going to show up. So there's benefits to showing up and being real in the real world.
Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
scared of
Just like,
losing
just
that.
like having visual meetings, right? It's since they integrated this work at home stuff. Like you see people wearing half suits and then they are in a visual call in the meeting, but they're not wearing clothes, just boxers, a split of oh yeah, there is.
Because I can be so
You
lazy.
feel like that person is present at the
Yeah.
meeting, but in reality is very, very distracted because of the medium to show a two-sided person through this visual whole thing. It could be in the meeting, dress as you want him to be. Some might even be using a green background while they are in the beach. Like it's just crazy. You know? So a follow-up question, right? Do you think people will start using social media less in the future?
No.
Uh, it depends on what social media transforms into because I think we're going into more voice whereby because we humans we like comfort.
Yes.
What I mean by voice is that I can just like Alexa,
Yes, just say something.
I can just say something and they'll just give me what I need. I can just say post this, tell me what's on my feed, start reading it,
Yes.
do this, do that instead of me actually
Doing
going.
That would not be good for me. I would stay in bed all day.
and control everything.
I feel it will definitely happen.
No, it's already happening. Like I have a Google TV.
that.
I have a Google TV. What's the name of that brand? I'm not giving them a free promotion, so I'm not going to mention. But I have a Google TV. It's controlled by Google. I could literally just walk into my house and say, "Google, turn on my TV." Then the
Yeah.
TV turn. Without touching the TV, I'll be like, "Google, switch to Netflix and play the last movie." It's gonna do it. I can say, "Google, leave Netflix and go to YouTube and search for this," or go to Apple Music. Everything works just with my voice. I don't even have to hold my remote. The minute I say, "Hey Google," it replies. So I feel like we are not going to use social media less, but according to what it said, it's how social media decide to transform. That's how we're going to probably engage with it. So another follow-up question: what upcoming trends in social media excite or concern you the most? I want input from this question because there's a lot of things that concerns me about social media. Right?
The one that fascinates me a lot is these AI agents they are currently having, whereby you can literally just tell the AI agent what you want. Which comes to what we just talked about. I can literally just go and tell the AI agents I want to start an AI business. I want to do this. I will just explain whatever how I want the business to be like. The AI will go online to create a social media page for me. It will it will go online because right now we have AI creators.
Yes.
That AI agent will do everything for me, posting on my feed, setting up my business account, the domain, and also start running adverts for me. The AI will just have to do everything for me. I don't need any person, I just need the AI. So I think that's what really fascinates me about the era we're getting into with social media and AI.
Because now you don't need the manager, right?
Yeah.
You don't need someone doing the Hootsuite for you. And
That's true though. It's even on ChatGPT. There is a AI assistant.
yeah. Shout out chat. Sorry, I know it's your platform, but I
There
love
is an
chat.
AI assistant whereby I feel like you could assign the assistant to a role to play in your company or in your brand. Let's say for me now, I'm a creative director, right?
Yeah.
I shoot music video, commercial pictures, and lots more. And then sometimes it's draining bringing up a concept when the client is not even giving you a vision to work with. They will just tell you, I have a shirt, a product, I want to shoot it. No vision, like no story behind the inspiration, the design. Like, so it boils down on us to actually think more and do more to bring it out.
Yeah.
So I feel like with the way it's going, right, with that AI assistant, sometimes I can just assign the AI assistant to be like, I will be shooting a commercial or a photo shoot. I want a concept written down in details, blah 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 blah. So that AI assistant is going to act as an assistant director. I could actually assign that physical job to do, and then
I love-
AI assistant is going to do it for
I
me.
love that. And we're able to scale faster.
Yes.
Because there was a time when I was so scared. I've lost my business. It's COVID. How am I going to compete in South Africa? And then recently, it's only been about a little under 2 years now. I've been able to grow at scale because of AI tools that are able to help me carry out,
activities.
work. And I think it's a worthwhile investment because it cuts out the time of having to do things yourself or hire. I'm not saying we should take people's jobs away. I think it creates an industry for even better jobs for humans to have. But the scale is so much better and the dependability as well. You know that it's going to deliver at a certain level. It's always at an expected. And that's important for me as somebody who's working alone, so I do love that about it.
Exactly. If you could give one piece of advice to the younger generation about social media, what would it be?
I would say take it upon yourself to use social media as a tool to improve your life.
Yes.
And instead of you just leaving it for these platforms to think for yourself, use it to modify what you already have within you to make it sharper and better and brighter.
That's right.
Because you just like some people, they go online and let's say ChatGPT, for example. Sometimes this AI, they are wrong.
Very, very.
Sometimes.
Sometimes they
So
can mislead you,
you just
depending on the prompt you put into it. Sometimes too.
you just relying on them to just give you the information without going through it to see if it's wrong.
All right.
Exactly.
That's
Most people, they just put things there and just take out what they get from there. So you just have to be able to decipher from what's good and what's right, what's bad, what's good for you.
for sure.
So make use of this platform for your own good rather than this platform making use of you.
Dream, what if you could give one piece of advice to the younger generation about social media? What would it be?
It would be the advice my mentor gave me, which kept me from going crazy after going crazy. Use it as a tool, exactly what Jermaine just said. Know what you're doing when you're on there, or use it because you're having fun. What does that mean? If you're not having fun in reality, if you're not okay, if you're depressed, if you're feeling some type of way, that's your body, that's your mind telling you, I need you to bring me attention. So that means you have no business being on social media at that point. Go for a run, go for a walk, eat something,
You're very, very.
take care of yourself.
Some people think when
but use
that's
it-
the right time to use social
Yes.
media, and it's wrong.
And that's how I check myself. That's how I've been able to do less of the mess and stay more on the message. You understand?
Yes.
Because I know that, I'm here for an intention. It's a tool right now. Or I'm having fun and I'm capturing the fun.
Yeah.
If that's not what's happening, don't be on there. You have no business being there.
You're right. For me, I would say to the younger generation having to hop on social media, especially if you hopping on social media as a novice, like you don't have an idea of how to go about it, where to go about it. Like Dream and Jamen just said, use it as a tool. In a toolbox, right? If you're a mechanic or someone that works with a tool, there are tools whereby they have multiple purpose. Like they could do 3 things or 4 things depending on what you do with them. You see that tool being able to do 2 or 3 things at the same time can also be the reason you were not able to do something right, because the tool was not able to work the way you wanted it to work at that particular time. So we should use social media more as a tool to shaping our personal life. Like for me recently, I've been getting a lot of Christian reels. You see those morning prayers, those morning preaching. There is a pastor online. His name is Lazarus. If he's watching this, shout out to him. I don't know his full name, but I just come across Pastor Lazarus from nowhere one morning, and then it's as if this guy was calling me out on the reel, was saying like very very nice things, and then that was how I started following him, and then I feel like sometimes if I'm on social media and then I've done much of scrolling and then I haven't even seen his reel, I go to search. I'll search his name and be like, okay, what's new? because I feel connected. Because on social media, you can do a lot with social media. You could actually become who you've never been by actually doing the right or wrong thing on social media. So to the younger generation, you guys should use social media very, very mindfully. Use it as a tool to shape in your life, not as a distraction to give
To escape
yourself
in your life.
false validation. Yeah, anything you see online is not real because it was posted. Anything real is what is like time, and you can't really capture time. That's to say, we here now. This is real. Even if we're gonna post about this, it's after here.
Yeah.
That is not in real time, and it's how we decided to post it or how we decided to make it look. That is what we post. So I would advise we use social media mindfully and use it as a tool, just as my two honorable speakers have said. So as we wrap up, because this is like a closing remark or whatever, I don't know how to call it. This has been an eye-opening conversation. Before we wrap, I would love to hear one final thought from each of you. What's your best advice for someone struggling to use social media in a healthy way? For Jamen, I feel like you've managed to use social media in a very, very much impactful way without even having to be present. Like I'm not sure the impact or the impact of social media he has gained much in his life. So many influencers, they're putting out their actual self out there. I'm not sure they've been able to attain such height because they are out there, and then sometimes anything that has to do with you being present, you have to be fine. You have to be
Yeah.
okay to show up. If not, you're just showing off the broken part of you too. So he's been able to attain a lot from social media without having
Without
to be
having to do that.
physically present. So let me read the question again. What's your best advice for someone struggling to use social media in a healthy way?
I would say first of all, take care of your mindset. As start going to the gym, start eating healthy meals, start listening to good podcasts that will definitely develop your mind.
Like IMH podcast.
Yeah, definitely.
And the glow era coming up.
Yes, the glow era with dreams.
So I would say it starts from outside social media
Yes.
because your mindsets will dictate the things you choose to consume. Because if you have a sound mindset, you go online, there's nothing that will be able to shake you.
True.
Because now you know what you want and what you don't.
Exactly. You could differentiate what is attention and what is distraction.
Yeah. It's just like reading a book. How would you be able to tell, like reading a 500-page book? How would you be able to tell yourself that you remember everything you've read? So you just have to decide for yourself because each book has its own message. You just have to decide for yourself, what am I taking out from this?
What is this?
And what am I not taking out from this? You just have to, it's just two columns, positive and negative sides. So you just have to build your mindset outside social media first
Okay.
before you be able to make use of social media properly. Because going on social media with a negative mindset or a mind that is toxic, it will be hard for you because right now you are putting on a fake persona which you will not be able to keep up with over time.
You only attract more of what you put out.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And then I feel like it's drained so many people, right? When you've projected a particular image on social media to people, and then life happens, and then you are unable to keep up with such lifestyle, and now you start seeking external things that are probably sometimes not good for you, just because you want to be able to keep up that presence you've showed online. So it makes you go above and beyond your personal boundaries and moral
It's
boundaries.
drained because it's fake. If
Mhm.
it's authentic, if you are your real self, just like if you are interested in something, it's easier for you to just do it.
True.
It's easier for you to just continue, even if you face setbacks or challenges, just because of the fact that you like that thing and you are very, very much interested in it, you'll be able to overcome those challenges or those hurdles. But if it's fake, just a little challenge, you just
Fall apart.
yeah, exactly, fall apart.
So, Dream, what's the best advice for someone struggling to use social media in a healthy way?
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet.
Take it.
Get it. This came to mind when we were speaking. Basically, what I'm hearing is use social media to shape and not escape your life.
Exactly.
That's it.
not escape your life. Use it to shape
Use it
your
to shape it and not escape.
And
That should be on a t-shirt, and we're gonna partner on that.
yeah,
And quote me, dream, and it's coming to you.
you've got
Stores near you. You can shop for it.
got that. Use it.
Use it to shape and not escape.
Escape.
Finish.
I feel like that is a very, very important finishing word, because
Boom.
many people take social media as an escape from real life.
Yeah.
Like they feel like, yes, here you can't even know my address. I can just go to the Gucci store, snap there and tell you I went shopping, even if I didn't have money for it.
Yeah, but the real you is still there. Wherever you go, there you
Are
are.
you going to like
Exactly. You
yourself?
can't escape
So
yourself.
we've had a really, really wonderful conversation, and I feel like we had enough time to touch on so many, many important areas of social media. The social media people wants to hear, or they are denying themselves of hearing.
Yeah.
So if
I
you're
feel like there's a part we left out though.
okay,
What?
what part was that?
Okay. We are here to touch on social media and relationships.
Yes.
How does it impact relationships?
That's gonna have to be a second episode because I have to go cook in real life, y'all. I gotta get out of here. So that's a part 2.
Okay.
But that's a really good one,
Yeah. So
right?
what did you say again?
Social media
Relationship.
and its impact with relationships.
Relationship. Okay. So guys, it's we're wrapping it up now on the first episode of social media on Inspired Minds Hub podcast, and it's been quite a good time with Dream on my right hand side and Mr. Jamen, the crypto e-commerce and the faceless team page guy. If you want to learn about all what I just mentioned pertaining to Jamen, he's going to shout out his Instagram at the end of this, and then you can go follow him, and then just tell him I saw you from IMH podcast. It's going to give you a free game. Just make sure you are subscribed to us on YouTube, subscribe on TikTok, and you're following us on Instagram. And also, from my right hand, we have a very, very, very good, renowned speaker, public speaker. She's such
Gassing me up.
words of her mouth, and from having to be very, very intelligent. For a lady, like, I'm very, very impressed by her. She has her own podcast also. She also talks about so many things. The last time I actually shot our own podcast, she was just fully into it. I felt like I left the position of a director that was recording the podcast to a listener, because I was actually being impacted by whatever it is she was saying. So guys, this was
Thank
a
you.
nice
That's
this was
so
a nice
kind.
conversation with Jamen and Dream. And you can find us on Instagram, IMH Podcast Studio, on TikTok and on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you tune in, and make sure you listen to this episode till the end, because if you don't listen to the end, you're not going to hear his Instagram handle. It's going to be giving you guys free games, like how you can make this money. He's also giving me a free game. I'm trying to get into this faceless team page. You want to miss, I'm very, very happy in getting to start something, and also removing the idea of when I'm going to get to where I want to be while starting it.
Gotta do it now.
Because you just starting it, you just like started to run. You can't just sprint up and then become a 100-meter expert runner from your first day of running. So exactly, just like the book I'm reading now, step by step, Atomic Habits. You go step by step. It starts from a Q and then onwards. So guys, follow IMH Podcast Studio on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Now I'm gonna give the mic to Jamen to give us some last words, and also shout out his Instagram handle.
And then I'm gonna shout out mine too.
Yeah.
I've
not-
said
What
everything.
me out.
No, I'll give him first. Then when he tells, then I'm gonna give you. I would never leave you out. Imagine living dream. It's your dream.
Like
We want them to remember you as much as possible. That's why you are the end.
So Jamen,
that's flattering. Save the best for last.
So I would say my Instagram handle is
best to last.
it's Big Shots Rare with the number 8. Big Shots Rare.
Or you can also shout out your team pages for them to go see, and your brand. He's the owner of this brand I'm wearing. Like I said one time while we were recording, you could just go on Instagram, search for Creating Wear store, and then you'll find this beautiful t-shirt and so many upcoming t-shirts and other designs we have coming up. So you can also get him. Just tell them
The handle of
your
my team page is Groom for Wealth. That's why growing people for wealth.
Nice.
Yeah. So check us out and follow us. We also have a Discord community where we give free crypto and NFT tips to make money.
I belong to that community. You guys should come there. There are free insight on what's going on in the crypto world. And now let's give the mic to Dream.
Ba, 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 ba. Okay, so my Instagram handle is Mpumi Nobiva _ the only. If you just type Mpumi Nobiva, a lot of accounts are going to pop up. I'm not the white ladies you see. I'm not the people you see. Come to my page. It's a humble, small number page, but it's the real me, and we're going to grow together. And my platform where I'm working out of is Flourish Harmony, where we have the Glow Era podcast coming up.
Yes.
And we can't wait to work with you guys.
Thank you, Tam. And shout out to TMT Studio for giving us a wonderful space. TMT Studio is really, really a nice studio spot. You could literally do anything that has to do with creativity in Cape Town. They are located at 4 Loop Street, City Central, Cape Town. You can come here for your photo shoot, music video, podcast, and more. They have equipment, they have light, they have good team people that are here to assist you with bringing your vision to life. So make sure you check out TMT Studio, and that is it for today. See you guys on our next episode. Stay tuned and make sure you tell someone about IMH podcast today. See you guys on the next one. Bye.